Hello world, my name is Jonathan Toomin, and today I'm going to be talking about on-chain micropayments and the potential and limitations for that kind of technology. And I'm going to be talking mostly about micropayments on Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is a blockchain designed and intended for scaling. So one of the main limitations of on-chain micropayments is that you have to pay fees, and transaction throughput can be limited. You can only handle as many payments as the blockchain itself can handle. And Bitcoin Cash currently can handle about 100 transactions per second, 100 to 200 depending on the transaction type, whereas other blockchains such as Ethereum or Bitcoin Core can handle somewhere between 4 transactions per second and 20-ish or so. So that might seem like a limitation, but Bitcoin Cash is working on expanding that into the thousands or tens of thousands of transactions per second range. And the only bottlenecks to accomplishing those goals are things like parallelizing the code and solving some issues with TCP throughput. And as it so happens, I'm working on fixing those. So blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the other issue with on-chain micropayments that you might think about is fees. And in this respect, Bitcoin Cash actually does quite well. Fees are currently around 1/10 of 1 cent, sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually in the order of 1/20 of 1 cent to 1/5 of 1 cent. And that should remain the case for basically any transaction throughput up to the ceiling of what Bitcoin Cash can handle. So this means that micropayments on the order of 1 cent or even 10 cents are feasible. A 1 cent transaction would result in about 10% of the transaction being absorbed as the transaction fee, whereas a 10-cent transaction would result in 1% or less. So there are a lot of things that you can do with a 10-cent transaction. So in the rest of this talk, I'm going to show you some things they can do with that. The advantage of using an on-chain transaction as opposed to an off-chain transaction, like you would get on, for example, the Lightning Network on Bitcoin, there are actually quite a few of those advantages. One of them is that on-chain transactions can be a lot more complex and a lot more varied in what you can do with them. For example, not only can you do transfers of Bitcoin Cash on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, but you can also transfer what are called simple ledger protocol tokens. And these are on-chain tokens that are very similar to the ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, in that they're programmable, they can be minted and created by end users or by developers, and they can represent whatever you want. So Bitcoin Cash transactions on-chain can transfer those tokens as well, whereas you can't do something like that with Lightning Network. And another big advantage for the on-chain method is that you don't have to worry about the cost of creating a Lightning Network channel. Currently on Bitcoin, it costs about $5 to $10 to send any transaction on Bitcoin, which means that opening a Lightning Network channel or onboarding a user onto your platform would cost at least that amount, at least $5 to $10. And on Bitcoin Cash for $5, you can send around 10,000 transactions, 5,000 to 20,000 transactions, depending on the size of your transaction and the size of the fee. So the break-even point for making it worthwhile to go with Lightning Network as opposed to going with an on-chain transaction is actually quite far. And most of the friction, most of the problem in onboarding a user actually comes at the beginning. And so the fact that Lightning Network type off-chain solutions front load the payments and front load the fees makes it very difficult to make a system like that grow. So in this talk, I'm going to give you 2 demonstrations of different types of micropayment or token payment transfer systems on Bitcoin Cash. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an existing application or existing website that uses micropayments. And this is the website read.cash. And actually, let's look at, yeah, sure, this one. So Read.Cache is kind of like Medium. It's just a publishing service for where some blog writer wants to write an article and publish it and make it available. And so they write their article and they post it, and people can comment on it down at the bottom in the comments section, as you'd expect for any other article. But Read.Cache also has one other feature that most other blog services doesn't have. It allows you to tip the author. And if I want to, for example, I can click on this uplink button or upvote button, and I can actually upvote this person by 10 cents. And I just did that. I just gave the author of this article 10 cents, and they've now earned $9 for this article. I was able to do that because I've also written articles on Read.Cache in the past, and so I have money in my wallet. But this isn't just funny money. This is a real Bitcoin Cash wallet that's engaging in on-chain transactions. And if I view this right here, this is a mirrored copy of the Read.Cache wallet. This is, by the way, all of this wallet is running locally on my machine. The wallet is written in JavaScript, client-side JavaScript, so the server does not have access to my funds. It's all on my laptop itself. And I have this wallet backed up onto my computer. And so that 10-cent transaction that I sent, it's right here. It's, oh yeah, by the way, it's November 4th. It's 2 days earlier. But yeah, this is the transaction that I just sent. And you can see that it was 10 cents, and it decremented by balance from about $12.18 to $12.08. And we can look in more detail on this, and we can see that the fee was 1 Satoshi per byte. It was a 600-byte transaction. So 0.000623 was it? ECH in USD. So that fee comes, oops, I missed a zero. That fee comes out to 0.15 cents. This Read.Cache platform is really powerful because it enables, if you can get enough viewers, if you can get enough participants, it enables people to get paid significant amounts of money for their work. And for example, I also wrote a few articles, here it is, for Read.Cache, and here's one of them. And this article was the publication of about 2 or 3 months worth of research and development on a upgrade protocol proposal for the Bitcoin Cash platform. So this is a lot of data and a lot of work and a lot of code that went into this. And that work was, in the end, rewarded with over $3,000 in payments from readers. So that kind of system can really transform the way that the internet could work. And this can be enabled through these on-chain micropayments. So that's, I think, one example of what you can do with micropayments. But you can also do things with tokens. You can create a token that can be used for whatever purpose you want. One of the first tokens that was created for Bitcoin Cash using the Simple Ledger protocol was the Spice token. And Spice was intended to be used as a way for people to show appreciation for other people on the internet. People could use Spice to tip comments made on Telegram and group chats, or I think on Twitter as well. And yeah, so Spice is a Simple Ledger protocol token that gets traded on chain. I was going to say something more, whatever. You can also create tokens yourself. For example, if you want to create a token for a game, maybe you want to maybe you're making an RPG game and you want to have items that are tradable in-game. What you would need is, first you need a wallet that has enough money in it for the transaction fee. So I'm just going to move over about $1 into this new wallet that I have. Oops. Not Simple Ledger. There we go. $1. That's what I need to do. Trying again. Moving $1 over to this new wallet, and there we go. And now this new wallet has an incoming transaction of $1 roughly. And with that $1, we can pay the fees for creating a token. So if we want to create a new token, let's say we want to make a token for Jonathan Toomin's amazing staff of wisdom. And we can give it a token ticker symbol in case people want to trade it of JT staff or JTSTF. And you can also link it to a web document or an URL or any other thing. And we're going to call this an NFP token. And we're going to just make one. And we create it. And there we go. We now have a staff, and we can view this on, for example, a block explorer. So the entire world now sees that there is one JT staff out there in the world, and that staff can be treated according to whatever rules you want. In this case, I can pass this staff on to somebody else by cryptographically signing a message. And this kind of system can be used as the basis for a video game. And for example, this right here is a fundraiser being held for one such game that is a collectible card game where each card is a token on the blockchain. And so these cards can be traded for example, real money or not. And yeah, I think that's about the end of my talk. Thank you for listening, and I'm sorry that this was so rough and haphazard, and I'll make it faster and smoother next time.